I was part of the BUNI, which is the Innovation Hub, and by itself, seeing other people doing what they're doing, experiencing their challenges firsthand was pretty important for actually us to start the business, because then you learn from other people's mistakes and then you kind of like try to avoid that. But even right now, there are a lot of challenges. Among them is access to just what do you need to do to get your business to the next step. So it has been things like complying to taxations. That is not an information that you can actually get very easily. Like, you have to dig yourself and even try to understand what is compliance and what do I really need to do. Even that, not complying, even to know what do you need to comply to. It's almost like a heat, and you just try to figure out. And sometimes you do something, you really try to say, oh, maybe I've understood, and at the end you're like, oh, maybe you actually were not doing something well. And of course they are professionals. That is something that they could actually help. But as a young company, you're trying to figure out how to not spend money, how to stay afloat, how to stay relevant, and then you have to always cut down your expenses and really make them low. So you really cannot afford these people who can actually advise you. So the only thing that you could is maybe if you have people in your maybe friends list who can actually, maybe you exchange services. So I think having maybe a stronger ecosystem where you have these kind of like value-added services to companies that people could actually get at a discounted at a started company will considerably help. Because even right now, of course, it reaches the point where you had to hire a consultant, but you're hiring a consultant maybe too late, and you have to comply from day one. That's one of the challenge. The second challenge that I can actually pose is skill set. One of the things is you're trying to be as competitive as you can while keeping your expenses low and still have the best talent. Those things, how do you juggle between those things? At the end, you just have to compromise into one. So if you have enough capital, then definitely you can hire best people. But if you don't have, you have to just stick with what you have. And especially in an environment where skill by itself is a challenge. So if you're in an environment or an ecosystem where skill itself is in abundance, then that's easy to actually attract people to a company that is pretty young, maybe because one of the things is you cannot compete with payment, with salaries with any big companies. They'll always outweigh you. The only thing you can actually compete in is maybe the drive and selling of the idea. So one of the very crazy thing is how do you navigate into that? How do you navigate into the lack of skill set in a market where skill is already low? So even one of the things that we really try to do is equip our staff with a lot of skill set. We try to we have all these review sessions, everything to actually try to see how can we improve the skill set of everybody who we have at a way that is as cheap as you can for the company. Being part of now a startup has also, to me, brought about the realization or the more appreciation of mentors, people who you can go and talk to on different aspect of running a business. And I think that is one thing also as something that is as a challenge to get, or how as an ecosystem we help young companies to actually grow in terms of really mentorship. Because as I said before, it's how do you navigate these challenges? Because right now what you're doing is navigating challenges without really not knowing where you're going. A bit of advice here and there would actually help. And even one of the things that we're personally doing is identifying these people who could actually help us in different categories. So finances, I say management of finances, but how do you really do it? Because just keeping finances also might be a challenge. Not using finance might also be a challenge. Having places like Buni, the innovation hub, like Kinu, another private innovation hub that was there, and other places, it's pretty key. And I think it comes from things like just motivation, seeing what other people are doing, networking, having a place where I can meet and interact with people that normally they're not into my day-to-day routine, inspiration, seeing incredible works, and also seeing failure. I think part of growth is seeing all these aspects. So not seeing only things that are working, but also seeing that things are not working. And also for people who have failed, to share their stories. Because I think we learn from definitely our own experiences, but also from our friends, our peers, our partners' experiences. And having places where we could go through and exchange ideas, exchange contacts, but also learn from other people, I think it's pretty key. So based on just my experience in being part of an innovation ecosystem for maybe more than 5 years, also being part of startup, I think it all comes down to having a vision or goal, a dream. So that I think that's one thing that's pretty key. Then teaming up with people who are like-minded, who you can go together into a certain direction, definitely the vision, and then just trusting yourself and being relentless into actually pursuing it. I think everything else comes as a bonus. Whether you get it or whether you don't, it shouldn't deter you. It would be nice if you get. It would be nice if we get funds. It would be nice if we get mentors. It would be nice if we get all this information about taxation. It would be nice to get help into, let's say, if startup could actually be charged less in terms of taxes by TRA. But all these, to me, is a bonus into your guts, the team that you make, and the visions that you have. And I think, to me, those three are pretty key. And anything else will actually solidify what you have. So I think this, to me, is for people who really want to start up businesses, and especially like young people. And definitely, money will come. I say the easier route to, the quickest route to making a lot of money is making a startup or starting a startup. It's the hardest route. But I think, to me, it's fulfilling. It's a very fulfilling route into knowing that you're actually making an impact into whatever you do. And to me, success, it really depends on a person. Whatever success is to you, I think you have to really follow it and really relentlessly follow it. And I cannot stress enough about teaming up, because every person at any point of time, you run out of steam.